Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, which means it's time for yet another Salty Saturday morning live stream. Yet, this is a special one because it's the day before my birthday. And so to celebrate my 45 years on this planet Earth, and all terrible 45 years of them, we are going to be welcoming our fantastic panel of nerds to help me ring in my one day closer to death day. My brother from another mother who's wearing a shirt for a change, Matt Vader 74. How you doing, buddy?
I did that one time. One time I took the shirt off. Never again.
So you say.
Yeah, no. I'm really happy that you escaped from your mother's vagina 45 years ago. That was really nice. So here we are.
It was like a Kurt Russell movie. It was definitely an escape from.
It's like, I'm here. Let's go.
Big fat bald head back then too.
With full beard, with the beard.
Yeah, where's the podcast cameras? It's like the scene from Ace Ventura. You're just coming out of the back.
Vader! Let's go.
Exactly. We got a schedule to keep to. God damn it. Then we have.
Did you see the topics yet?
No, didn't even read them. No.
We have our shield from everything woke. He's here. He's queer. He's our gender non-binary Latinx brother from another mother, Brian from the podcast. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. How you doing? Hey, don't forget, it's not getting older. It's leveling up, my dude.
That's right.
There you go.
Dinged.
I know your brother leveled up a couple weeks before me, so
he did.
Happy birthday to Shane as well. And joining us from his family time with his shelf in the background and taking a break from eating all that pineapple pizza he loves so much is Odin. How you doing, Odin?
I am doing well. Glad to be back. Like last time I was here, I had to leave in a very hard way because I had a child throwing up, and so luckily baby Thor is 2 weeks past that and is feeling a lot better, so hopefully not gonna have that emergency this week, but always glad to be back and glad to be celebrating your day before your birthday with you today.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys all being here. We've become very good friends over the course of the years of doing this live stream, so I appreciate you all showing up. But for those of you out there watching in YouTube land, we have a number of guests coming on the show today, and some of them are already here, hanging out backstage. So, guys, I'm going to be introducing you right now, one by one, to give you the introduction you deserve. First of all, a big friend of the stream, and I was actually on his live stream last night answering all types of questions. It is Culture Casino, the man with the hair. How you doing, buddy?
The man with the wet hair. I'm doing fantastic, and thanks for being a 1 year older today. But stick around I for many more, and happy birthday, dude. But
Thank you.
glad to hear.
And he is the masked Avenger, head of the Legion of Memers, coming to us from a hidden location somewhere on the planet Earth. It is No Green Rocks. How you doing, buddy?
Hidden location. Everybody behind the scenes already knows where I'm at. Hell, man. Thanks for having me on, and happy birthday, my dude.
Thank you, sir. And he is the expert author of the Morgala Chronicles, excuse me. It is a good friend of the show, John David. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, happy birthday there, Matt. Thanks for having me on, as always.
You're also the best dressed person on this live stream.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes, right. I have to point that out. Yeah.
Yes. What is clothes?
Bias.
Man,
Clothes maketh the man, indeed. And we have my two good friends from the Perfect Turd podcast, one of the best podcasts about bad movies I think I've ever seen on YouTube. We have Joe and Lamar. Hey, guys.
One of the best. Well, thank you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
There's our gift. Jeez. Good Lord. The best. Well, I'm taking it. Everybody else.
I very much enjoy your podcast as well. And I believe we can still keep adding people to the stream. Have we hit our limit yet? No, I think we got 3 more. So. Yeah. Okay. And joining us for the first time on a live stream is Price of Reason. How you doing, Price?
Whoa, Price.
Good. How's it going, man?
Good. Thank you for being here today. Appreciate it. Appreciate
it's your birthday.
All you guys being here. Yes, it is indeed. I think Price is the first person that I ever did an interview with a cloth doll. So that was a milestone for me way back in the day.
Wait, that's not really him. I thought that was just. I thought that
I
was just a
assumed
picture
that
of
was
him.
him. That's weird.
Yeah, me too.
By the way, you're also the only person that ever appeared on my channel, like for an interview. All the videos, I never have any panelist or anybody on, and you're the only one that's ever been there.
I am a trailblazer. That is me. And you should all refer to me as Mr. Kadish for my birthday, just so you know.
Mistress. Mistress Kadish.
Madam.
Mistress Kadish. Yes. But I want to
Madam
thank you all
Kadish.
for being here today. It is very heartwarming to see so many friends of the show and friends personally coming on the live stream to chit chat with us. But before we get to you guys, we have a whole bunch of people out there who are actually good friends of the show. We want to shout them out in the chat. So who do we got here joining us today? We got No Money G. How you doing, No Money? Got Arnie Mueller, Anthony Mark, Danny's mom Penny, Christopher Mays. Good to see you all here. Gavin Blackburn, Mexican Iron Man, Keely Chow. Good to see you. Cocho Dragon, Quantum Cat is here. Marks 47, Mark Santos, JS Pina. Don't know if I pronounced that right ever. Studio Lau, Mark Santos. We got who else here? We got Beard of Liberty, great name. Mighty Orbots is in the chat. We got Awesome One, and yeah, Joker's voice is here. Lily Von Stupp. Guys, thank you all so much for being here. And William Forbus, thank you, sir. Matt Vader Superfan is in the chat. So we thank you all very much for being here today in the chat. But we also want to give a big shout out to our big contributors on the show. We have our salty superstars, William Forbus, who dethroned Scotty Dub for a $500 super chat, all for Matt Vader because he loves him. We got Scotty Dub
and his feet.
Bob Dorsey and his feet. Yes,
And
no,
his
we're
feet.
not going to make it weird.
You guys are weird.
William Forbus made it very clear it wasn't anything weird. He likes Matt Vader.
Okay.
So I'm
Then we have
the real deal.
And that's
here.
not weird?
Yeah.
He was shirtless. He was
It's a little
shirtless
weird.
on
I don't
stream. Wait a minute.
I need a reason, or it's getting weird.
Because I'm so good looking. That's why.
He's got that sexy deep voice. Anyway, we also have our loyalists, the people who send us the most consistent super chats. We got Joker Voice and Mexican Iron Man. Thank you so much for that. And we have our top gifters, the people who are gifting memberships to us. We got WG and Jillian N. Thank you all so much for all the wonderful gifting that you guys do. And we are going to also shout out our top contributor, Scotty Dub, the guy who has gifted us the most money for the support of the channel. Thank you all so much for that. Anyway, guys, don't want to be spending too much time doing all the housekeeping stuff. We got a couple of super chats to get to, but before we do, Lamar, thank you so much for being here. I know that you're not going to have a lot of time to spend with us today, but I wanted to ask you guys, how's the Perfect Turd podcast going? And do you have any big interviews coming up that we might partake in?
Well, boy, oh boy. I will say this. Don't watch the man who killed Hitler and then Bigfoot. Save yourself the trouble.
We've already done that, actually.
We did that already.
That's like, it sounds like premium cable crack. Hitler, Bigfoot. What's next? Aliens and sharks.
You'll get drug in by Sam Elliott, but yeah.
Well, that's why we watched it, because we saw it had Bigfoot starring Sam Alien. We're like, and Hitler. This movie can't lose. How can they make a bad movie out of that?
Yeah, it had all the makings of a good movie, but it just wasn't. It was pretty terrible.
Yeah,
it didn't live up to the name at all either.
No, not at all.
We've had some ups and downs this year, I would say. We're usually like awful or kind of really good. There's not like an in between this year.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing when it comes to bad movies. But you guys, how's your channel growing? Have you guys seen some good fans coming over from the Salty Nerd? Shout you guys out.
We have seen some good, for sure. And then we've got our 200th episode looming very soon. So a few more weeks for that. So yeah.
The big 200. Very nice. So you guys got a birthday coming up too.
Yes, we do. Nice. And we kind of have an unofficial fan from the person who directed No Disrespect. He has been sharing our stuff. Have you guys seen No Disrespect?
Can't say we have.
Oh man.
Gotta see it.
You gotta
Must
see. We're not gonna say anything. You probably have seen the clips of it, but if there's a movie we have recommended recently, it's no disrespect. Like,
very nice.
Yes.
And we've got two more panelists kind of waiting in the wings, but I want to get to Mr. No Green Rocks, the head of the Legion of Memers, before we bring them on. No Green Rocks, you guys really did a fantastic job helping to meme Matt Vader in Subway for our members area. We've turned it into a trailer for our video, and you guys are just fun in general. Thank you so much for being here. What's going on in the Legion of Memers world?
I mean, we had the first year stream last week, which was the longest stream we've ever done. I don't know how people stream for 6 to 8 hours on end. So mad kudos to whoever does that, because
every week, every Thursday.
That's it. I don't know. I have no idea how you guys do. Well, now I do, but I could not be doing that all the time.
Yeah, we do it every Thursday. We do a live portion, and then we do a members portion afterwards that free people see.
Brian's
a long day.
You guys are the real ones, because I can't do that all the time.
It's not very entertaining.
And you're probably older than I am. I'm such a weakling. But
well, we love you guys over at the Legion of Memers. Go ahead.
We love all of you. I really wish I could cover. I wish we could cover a whole bunch more shows. Hopefully in the future it will come along, because we love this community. The fellowship and the people surrounding the fellowship. They're all really good folks, and we're very lucky to have the support of this community. And I hope to never take that for granted. You guys absolutely rock. In the beginning, Culture, even now he gives us all these different shout outs, and it makes me smile, because I'll get clips from different members being like, "Oh, look who gave us a shout out," and I'm like, "Yeah, I love that dude." So I really appreciate all the support, man, and I'm gonna keep doing what I do for as long as I can do it. You guys absolutely rock, and thank you for giving me content to do it on.
Yeah, totally. We love the Legion of Memers. You guys are hilarious. And speaking of hilarious, our next panelist, our big star here, is producer Mark Cartier of the Shuttlepod podcast. Now, we've hit our limit, so I'm going to have to basically take Matt Vader out of the equation here. Goodbye, Matt. He'll be back on in a minute. How you doing, Mark? Thanks for being here.
Warn him.
Oh, that's amazing. I was like, oh shit, he's going to kick somebody out.
I would have volunteered, man.
Yeah. You guys were all
he'll be back. Don't worry.
And I'm sitting in my bank account because I tipped you guys on your show the other day $100. I tried to do it twice. So I'm digging through my bank account because I don't think you got it. And I was going to dispute the transaction. But now that we're on the call together, I can find out who got the tip money.
Well, if you had sent us a super chat, we would have gotten it. We would have gotten an alert. So I don't think it went through.
Yeah, I think I texted you. I was trying to do it on my phone and it crashed the YouTube app.
Yeah, YouTube isn't very user-friendly. It should be more user-friendly, especially when people are trying to give you money, right? But Mark, you got a lot of fun stuff going over on your end of the woods, and Brian and Mark know each other because they've been in each other's live streams and stuff like that. But you're in the Star Trek community. What's going on over in Star Trek land?
Well, the strike primarily is going on in Star Trek land. We fall outside of the purview of the strike for various reasons, but there's still sort of a perception issue. So we're having to walk delicately with talent because most of our guests are stars of the show. So we've taken advantage of the opportunity to do a lot of behind the scenes. Crew members, we had a script coordinator, we've got the art director from Picard coming on. We're getting posed for Discovery and Strange New Worlds and whatever coming on. So it's fun. Also, we're moving into our new studio.
Yay!
So this will be under construction for the next couple of weeks. So we might take a little bit of a hiatus or just spend some time watching Star Trek episodes with people.
Well, that's pretty exciting stuff. Mark's got quite the operation going in LA with all types of fancy actors and all that good stuff. So we've hit up the Perfect Turd podcast. We've hit up the Legion of Memers, and we've hit up the Shuttle Pod show. Now I want to go to John David. What's going on in the world of authoring and your hit series, The Morgala Chronicles?
Well, I can honestly say that my second book, Diary of a Lonely Demon, is now an audio is now an audio version. You can find that everywhere. Just look up hashtag Morgala everywhere. It's over here. Yeah, hashtag Morgala and Morgala.net. You can check that out. So authoring, well, just trying to work on the next part of the series.
Yeah, I know the struggle to write a new book is real. So does J.R.R. Martin, apparently. But if we ever get I'm sure you'll get your book out before he does. So
yeah,
indeed. All right, Price of Reason. You've been very active on your channel lately. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, I've really just over the past year been consistently doing whatever I do. It's just over the past few months there were a few videos that seemed to capture people's attention. Most recently, I guess I annoyed a studio. Now I feel like you, Kadish. I did a review about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was a whole thing that involved also Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge and Bounding into Comics, where it seemed like they were saying that Splinter was an LGBT character, and I just mentioned it in a review, and apparently the studio, for whatever reasons, decided to put out some strange statement right after my review, pretty much addressing the review and things that I said. It's a very long story, but I think that recently has kind of given it a little push. But I've had other incidents like that in recent months too.
Yeah, the whenever you go up against Paramount, they're very litigious leaning, so they're gonna give you some grief probably. And want to throw this over to Culture Casino, whose live stream I was on last night. How are you doing, my friend? And what's new over on your channel?
Well, I'm doing great. I had a lovely interview with you, which is a brand new show that's only 5 weeks out now that we've started. We moved my pre-flight and turned it into a post-flight. So as the folks over on the Friday Night Tights crew are wrapping up, I get started with doing an interview show, and I'm having a lot of fun with that, bringing in one guest at a time. Hopefully I'll have many more wonderful guests. Maybe Odin will grace me with his presence. We'll see.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, because once he's done with Friday Night Tights and just comes over there, and it's just fun. It's completely off the beat conversation. I try to keep it less pop culture and just more of a conversation about what really people enjoy. The first 3 questions are completely known in advance by everybody, the audience, the guest, and so that I'm not sandbagging everybody, and it just goes where it goes. And yesterday you gave me a great piece, Matt, talking about more than what I asked, which was great, talking about the films and the television shows that you're really into. Those are the kinds of things we need to be talking about, because we're about to go through a content drought. That's a good word. It's gonna be rough, kids. It's gonna be rough. So we have other good stuff to talk about. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that.
Well, I don't like to brag, but I do give good interviews, so there's always that. Okay, now it's time to get.
You also give good phone, dude.
I give good everything. Let's just be honest about it. All right, real quick, I want to get to some of these super chats here.
From experience,
yes,
he definitely does.
All right, from Mexican Iron Man for $9.99. Happy birthday to Mr. Kadish, a man who not only triggers Hollywood producers into beta biatch status, but provides the leadership we need in nerd fandom. I was telling Matt Vader the other day that I actually caught Mike on one of Doomcock's live streams. I know Doomcock gets a lot of flack for some of his quote unquote inside sources and scoops, but goddamn, is Doomcock not one entertaining guy on his live stream? I could watch him live stream for hours. Like, that guy is really, really fun to watch. Just saying, that's my opinion. Culture Casino for $25. Happy 25th birthday, Mr. Kadish. $1 for each year, right? Thank you so much for that, Culture. I appreciate it. Gavin Blackburn for £2. Happy birthday, dear Mr. Kadish. Thank you, Gavin. Always appreciate your support. He is our super sticker champion, by the way. And we got a members chat from the Joker's Voice for 6 months. Thank you so much for the long-term support, Joker. Appreciate it. Happy birthday, Mr. Kadish. And then he follows that up with yet another super chat for $5. Hail S&P. Kadish is as much a Mr. as Mim is a YouTuber, Mexican Iron Man. LOL. Hashtag resist saying Mr. And of course, hashtag keep talking. Happy birthday, Matt. Yes, I believe Joker is in the Matt Vader camp of not liking the title of Mr. Kadish. But we appreciate all your super chats and all your support, guys. And this is kind of going to be more of a casual live stream than we normally have, a very structured kind of like, kind of topics that we talk about and stuff like that. But I figured for my birthday, I'd just kind of take it a little bit easy and hopefully get some super chats so that we could buy some libations for a birthday celebration privately or something like that. But Odin, you're one of our regulars, so I kind of skipped over you to get to the live stream, but I want to know what's going on with your stuff and how's your kid doing?
Baby Thor is doing well. I always have my little, security camera up just to make sure that he's okay for moments, just like what happened a couple weeks ago when he got sick. And so he's doing fine. He hasn't fallen asleep yet because that's just how he rolls as a toddler. Crazy that he's almost 3, and crazy that my second one will be here in the next 2 weeks. So that will be that will be crazy. As far as the channel goes, things are going pretty well. Talking this weekend about Equalizer 3, which was a solid film, and it's doing pretty well at the box office too. So I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, I know Culture had a lot to say about Equalizer 3, so it says that it's a very good movie everyone should see.
Denzel is just crushing it, man. There are only a handful of movie stars left in the world. He's one of them. Agreed. He doesn't have to say words, and he blows you away. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, we all love Denzel, but No Green Rocks has to get going real soon, so I wanted to give him a chance to say goodbye, give us any final thoughts, and let everyone know where they can find the Legion of Memers.
You can find the Legion of Memers on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We already did an intro. Yeah, I'm Superman, if he wasn't scared of Green Rocks, leader, creator, and founder of the Legion of Memers. Thank you for having me on, and I do apologize I could not stay a little bit later. We have a show with Epic Mike in a couple hours that I do need to prepare for because, got to prepare for the show.
Yeah, we had Epic Mike on, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Something like that?
It was the week my son got sick, so
yeah, it was the week he got sick.
I'm not saying it was his fault, but, just...
Yeah, but he's great.
Yeah,
so,
I love the dude. He's a fantastic guest and a great guy, too.
All right. Well, thank you so much, No Green Rocks. And everyone go check out the Legion of Memers. Follow them on X, or Twix, as we like to call it. And keep up the good work, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. You guys have a good day. And again, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. I guess I got to bring Matt Vader back on now. How you doing, buddy? Did you have a good break?
He muted himself.
Yeah, he muted himself.
I'm just
talking to the wind.
I'm just putting stuff in the chat. I'm being a good mod. Putting links and things in there. It's okay.
All right. So I wanted to ask Brian real quick. So I know Shane has been kind of going through an existential crisis in Star Trek. Can you give us an update on what's going on with you guys and your Star Trek love?
With a few things. It's not just Star Trek. It's like Star Trek, Star Wars, like pretty much every one of his childhood, loves when it comes to media. It's funny because I've already been there. I've been there for like a year and a half. And so watching him slowly go from like this very positive, we'll see how it goes person to, it's probably going to be shit right away is both terrifying and hilarious. We are doing like a little bit of a pivot. We are going to, on our main channel, we're going to be doing like, we're going to go back to our documentary roots and do more of the histories. We're going to be talking about our next one up is Star Trek Voyager, and then we're going to do the history of Babylon 5, the history of Supernatural, the history of, whatever TV show we've liked over the last 25 years. And then on our live channel, we're not going to stop talking about Star Trek, but there's a giant Star Trek drought coming up, and the last outing was just not great for us. So we're going to talk about stuff that we like. It's gonna be whatever hits the news feed that we're interested in, and that might be some guy finding 5K in a parking lot, then getting beat up by his wife, or it might be a Star Trek news. We don't know.
Well, guys, speaking of stuff that we like, I feel this is the perfect time to talk about Ahsoka Episode 3.
Oh, no.
For those
Had
of
to
you
ruin
who
it.
have watched the episode,
You
What
had
are
to
you
do
doing?
it.
You had to ruin it.
Bruh.
Everything was
What?
going
You had
so
to
well.
ruin it. It was
Man.
fine.
we don't all love Star Wars here.
You guys don't like the new Star Wars?
Oh, God.
You guys seem so passionate.
Vader just left. He doesn't want to talk about it.
It's
My
not,
name is
it's just
Ahsoka
so
Tano.
boring. My problem with it is that it's boring.
All right, hold on. But before we get into this, Lamar and Joe, you guys are the experts at everything turdish. What's your take on Ahsoka so far? 3 episodes in.
Lamar, have you seen it? Because I refuse to watch anything new Star Wars.
Oh,
Coming
you're gonna
from
say
you,
what
Joe?
I said.
That's big. You guys watch some of the worst stuff, and you can't even bring yourself to watch Star Wars.
I'm kind of well, I haven't watched it, but I'm kind of shocked that I've kind of heard from a lot of people that it's coming off boring because she's kind of like a fan favorite, but people are kind of still like, "What? This is it?" Like, yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know. It's this weird thing where they start off very boring, and I guess you're waiting for a build up. So maybe there's a build up. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. I feel like if you haven't seen all 4 seasons of Rebels, you're kind of at a disadvantage going into this one.
Oh, for sure.
Now, John David, I know you've had very passionate things to say about new Star Wars in the past. What's your take on Ahsoka so far?
Well, I've kind of been what Brian was saying earlier about your friend and about how he was all optimistic. Well, I've been that way ever since like the prequels. So there. And one thing is for sure is that they've discovered a cure for insomnia with Ahsoka. Is that if I ever have insomnia, okay, I'll just watch 5 minutes of Ahsoka. There we go.
So boring.
Yeah, the one thing that I will give them is the fact that wow, a spacesuit. Okay, they've never done that in Star Wars before. They've never actually. I don't recall them ever doing that. Well, maybe they've done it in one of the few. Things like in comics or graphic novels or something like that, but they certainly never done it in the mainstream Star Wars. And just wow, I'm just bored really by it. I suppose it could be worse, but
now
when it comes to Star Wars, the word boring should never even enter your vocabulary.
You think?
Yeah,
now,
I agree.
Mark, I know you're a big proponent of all Trek is good Trek. Do you feel the same way about Star Wars? Is all Star Wars good Star Wars?
That's very funny.
Welcome to the dark side, Mark.
I think lots of Star Wars is not good Star Wars.
And
I love Star Wars. It is the best. I love it so much.
So do I.
Have you been watching Ahsoka?
No, my son loves it, so I may have to watch it now.
Okay. Well, let me throw
how
this to
old is
Price.
13.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me throw this to Price of Reason, our film critic extraordinaire over here. Have you been watching Ahsoka, and what's your take on it so far?
I have been watching it, and I actually did watch all the Rebels before and the Clone Wars, so it's not like it seemed... I did understand what was going on. It's just that I feel like this show gets so many things wrong on so many levels. For starters, I think that while Rosario Dawson, she looks okay as Ahsoka at that age or whatever it's supposed to be, and she's a decent actress, they kind of tell her to make this sour face all the time and never smile, which I think is the opposite of what Rosario Dawson is. Any movie I've seen her in, she kind of has this smile and this sort of more lively personality. And in this thing, they're forcing her because they want her to be this kind of very serious mentor woman or something. But you could be a serious mentor woman and not make this weird face all the time. So that's one thing. And the dialogue is written very, very poorly. All these Hollywood writers are striking and they're worried about AI, but I think that AI could write better dialogue than what we see here. It's really, really some of the worst we've seen in Star Wars. And then when you get to the battles, like her jumping around in space with a lightsaber, knocking down ships, this is a level of stupidity that really disrespects. I mean, is there anything left to disrespect anymore? I don't know, but this already feels like a new level of disrespect for the franchise in some way.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about episode 3. Speaking of which, culture, we were about to kind of get into it on your show the other night about Ahsoka episode 3. What were your thoughts of this masterpiece of Star Wars filmmaking?
I'm with Price. I am tired of resting Carol Danvers' face on every single woman that's acting anywhere at all now. I do not appreciate plank of wood stoic. That is not a feminine look. It's not even a woman look. Women don't pull stoic off. It looks dumb, and it looks dumb for extended periods of time. And the funniest thing I watched, and this is something I haven't mentioned anywhere. I watched Robot Head's review of Ahsoka and lost my mind laughing, because he's right. Those chicks lived with their arms crossed for the whole freaking show. I'm like, wow, you are either very insecure about what you're talking about, or all the negative connotations that come along with that action. Insecure, angry, unsatisfied. If that's what you're trying to show through the whole show, okay, but that's just that you're not acting anymore. And in fact, I'm very frustrated with it. But I thought that was a great take by Robot Head, and it's funny. I'm surrounded by these great minds that talk about these things in many ways. But there are two things that caught me and actually pulled me in to watch episode 3, because I didn't watch the first 2 episodes. But what caught me was how hysterically funny it is to do an aerial cartwheel on a spaceship with the complete absence of physics, and then to do it the other direction with a lightsaber, which is a plasma torch, and apparently there's zero resistance in the metal on a spaceship that's going by you at ridiculous speed. Oh, by the way, the spaceships and Ahsoka are the same size. How's that work out? But anyway, skipping the bad visual effects, the physics behind that would have her arms separated from her body and her rest of her body floating out into space at ridiculous speed. So,
but the Force,
culture, space is different in the galaxy far, far away, dude.
No, that's not how the Force works.
It's movie space, buddy. It's movie space.
That's right.
Look, that was the moment that I realized that the show's a comedy. I have to look at it like Seinfeld now.
I was really hoping they would do a scene. I want to see a scene where Ahsoka and Sabine, her new non-force powered Jedi, when they do it, where they go from one ship to another ship to a debris field in rocket powered jetpacks.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Just like Star Trek, yeah.
And like in every Star Trek movie,
every Star Trek episode, it's like debris field everywhere.
Let's go.
real quick, guys. I want to give a big shout out to Jillian N, who just gifted 5 Salty Nerd memberships. Thank you so much, Jillian. You are one of our big superstars, our big gifters. Really appreciate that. Odin, I know you famously don't like to watch the shows we talk about on this live stream, but what's your opinion of Ahsoka episode 3?
I actually watched this one, so because I don't watch most of the stuff that I'll talk about tends to be Trek, and I don't really watch a lot of Trek these days.
To be fair, it's easier to watch something. It's easier to watch a show when it's only 22 minutes long.
Yes, this is very true. I think that a lot of the points that have already been made are pretty much right on, because I have fallen asleep every episode of this show. Every single episode, I have fallen asleep, and I have had to watch it at least 2 or 3 times just to finish it. That is how boring this show is. At first, I thought, okay, maybe the first one was a fluke. Nope, every single episode it has happened for. And that's one episode where it was roughly like 30-ish minutes or so. So it's not even necessarily the longest of shows at times, and yet it somehow ends up being one of the most boring. And really getting back to that point that was just made too about Rosario Dawson's performance, it really honestly is just so, it is so obvious that they are just holding her back from doing anything, because every line, I'm Ahsoka, oh, okay, no emotion, completely stoic, no life to the character at all. They could have gotten any actor to do that. So like when you're casting Rosario Dawson, where, again, she is known for being much more lively in the roles that she is, and that's what you're going to make her do. Again, if that's the performance that you want from her, she's doing it well, but that is not the performance that any person should be doing for a character like that, especially if they are supposed to be the lead of the show, the person you're supposed to be getting behind, the person that you're supposed to be rooting for. No one can root for this stoic personality that is not doing much of anything. And then you add to that the fact that what's amazing to me is that Filoni, who has written Rebels, and I've also seen all of Rebels, I've seen all of Clone Wars, and I enjoy those properties quite a bit, actually, probably more than what others in the space might, especially with Rebels, because that one tends to get a little bit more hate than what Clone Wars would get. But even with that, I look at the characters and I look at what they're doing, and it just honestly feels like Filoni is just changing his own canon or is ignoring certain things, is just adding things for the sake of adding them, and it just does not make any sense. It's some of the worst writing that I've seen in Star Wars. I think that the only thing that's been worse than this is absolutely Obi-Wan. I think the Obi-Wan series is still by far the worst series that they have done, but this is getting there.
Well, until Ahsoka comes across a gate in space and can't figure out how to go around it, then it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But
or the ship being dead in the water, and so they're like, "Oh, we see you," and so we're just gonna take forever to get to you. And then when we start shooting, we're gonna shoot right at you with your lightsaber on the outside of the ship because there's no way for us to get around that. It's just the dumbest stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah, and it is interesting that Rosario Dawson has mastered the resting Ahsoka face. But I want to throw this to Brian. Brian, what's your take on Ahsoka Episode 3?
I only got about halfway through it. I started watching it last night, and I fell asleep. And that's not even a joke. That's what happened. And I don't remember much of what...
It's only 22 minutes, Brian.
I don't know what to tell you. I literally started it, and like the minute I started it, I was like, "Oh man, I'm tired."
Brian, if you fast forward through all the staring, it's only an 8-minute episode. I don't even remember what happened. I honestly fell asleep in about 7 minutes after I started it. And guys, I'm the kind of person who will sit there and binge watch an entire season of something and tell myself the entire time, I really got to go sleep. Next, it's 4 a.m. and I've watched all of season 3 of Supernatural or something. This Osaka is just not interesting to me. It's boring. Osaka,
Japan.
Osaka. I don't care what it's called, you fucks. Look, the show is not good. It's boring.
Have you seen the new Star Wars show?
Are unlikable. It just doesn't work for me.
Have you seen the new Star Wars show, Nikojima? It's really good.
Yeah, Nikojima. Or Osaka. I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry.
What's
I can't say words right.
I like that show Tokayo. Tokayo's pretty great.
Isn't the robot named like Huang or something like that? Some weird
name? Something like that. I'm sure.
Best part of the show.
We just
best part of the show. Voice actor.
He's Ahsoka's vibrator, dude.
That's another waste.
The more we talk about Ahsoka, the more I'm going to go the OMB route, where I'm going to be like, I didn't watch it.
It's like, hey, she's all like, hey, Wang, do you have those special attachments ready to go? We got to go do some training.
They make it work.
Is the pulse attachment ready?
Yeah,
I can't believe they brought David Tennant to voice that character, and like Ahsoka, they just tell him to just speak in the most boring way. You have David Tennant; he's so full of charisma and charm, and he's just talking like some idiot. Sorry,
and yet he can't hide
it.
And yet he can't hide it. It's still like he's the most exciting part of the show, even with his more stoic approach with his voice. It's still the most exciting stuff.
It's true.
Yeah. So Matt Vader 74. I wanted to ask you. It looks like, especially with Episode 3, that they're trying to retcon things to make it so that anyone can wield the Force if they believe in themselves. Well, what do you think of that?
I think it's dumb. They need to test her midichlorian levels. If she has low midichlorians, she can't do it. Of course, I mean, doesn't Ahsoka have one of those fancy little things where she can take a blood sample and go? Yes.
Well, she took a lightsaber in the gut, so clearly she must have more than Qui-Gon Jinn, right?
Well, she was in close proximity to a bacta tank, so it's fine. But I'm just happy that they're managing to make an 8-episode arc out of 12 pages of script. That's going to be a feat, man. It's going to be amazing to watch them do that. I don't know about this Force stuff. Here's the thing, kids. No, not everybody is going to grow up and be a Jedi. In fact, most people, 99.99999 infinity nines out there, are not going to grow up and be a Jedi. It's the whole thing's very strange to me, how they're doing this. It's just a weird message that they're trying to send out there. I don't get it. I don't want it. It's like I was an Ahsoka fan going into this, but just like Star Wars normally does, they have to take something that we like, and maybe we're sort of like kind of neutral thinking that might be good, but no, they're just doing more of the same. I don't feel like Filoni even knows his own lore in his Filoni universe. And it's just a lot of staring and arms folding and rehashing of things we've already seen in the movies, but with girls. It's ridiculous, and I hate it. And Star Wars is dead, and I don't even know what else to say. So there you have it.
What do you guys think of the criticism that I know there are a lot of people in the entertainment tube sphere that mentioned this, that there are no actual like men in this show. It's all just
that's normal.
It's
pretty typical
girl boss stuff. The Force is female.
It's true. I mean, it's factual. Aside from Ray Stevenson, there's no on-screen male character at all. And even when he's on screen, he's not the main villain. He sort of has to take orders from that other actress who doesn't seem to be a great actress. The
eyeliner girl?
Who? Lady girl? Lady?
I call her eyeliner girl because that's all she is. She's just big eyes with eyeliner, and she's just like the whole time. She's just staring with this giant eyeliner. I'm like, okay, that's a choice.
I think you're right. She's Morgan Elsbeth. What's that character called? That's the one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're right. She has a lot of eyeliner. She's not a very good actress. And really, she gives the orders to the only man there. So all the rest are just women. And the funny thing is, in Rebels, he actually had male characters. I mean, if you think about it, there was Kanan, there was Zeb, whatever that creature thing, but that was a male, and Ezra. So you could say whatever you want about Rebels, but it at least had a balance. When you have a show that there's no male presence at all, it creates an imbalance, in my opinion.
Well, did you guys recognize, I had to point this out to Vader, that Lady Morgan was that woman that Ahsoka was fighting in season 2 of The Mandalorian that she captured? Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Yep. And she's back. I thought she.
Yep. In the that was in. Wasn't that in the Mando or?
Yeah, that was season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought she got killed.
No, she captured her because she was trying to find Thrawn. But that's where Din Djarin got his Beskar staff and stuff like that.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Same actress?
Same actress, yeah. They neglected to remind us at the start of Ahsoka that that happened, and so it took me a couple episodes to remember.
That's the problem with this entire show is they're expecting everybody to be completely caught up on all the other 100 hours of stuff that you need to watch before you're watching this show. They could have done a 5-minute teaser or a 5-minute like introduction and introducing some of this stuff. Instead, they had that terrible crawl that didn't explain anything. Probably has some spelling errors in there somewhere if you really look at it close. Yeah, man. If you haven't done your homework, I can totally see why you would be lost when it comes to a lot of these characters in this show. So yeah, it's like.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that for those of the Star Wars fans out there who haven't read the books, who haven't watched the cartoons, would any of them even know who Thrawn is?
No, they wouldn't.
I've only heard of Thrawn, so yeah.
Because they toss his name around quite liberally in the show, and it's just like, I know who Thrawn is because I read those books. I never watched. I never got far enough into Rebels to see him return in the cartoon. But I can imagine that if people hadn't seen this stuff and they're watching Ahsoka, they might be a little bit lost about what the hell's going on. Who's Ezra? What happened with Thrawn? Who's this character? Why are they looking for him?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Why is there this ancient technology that somehow knows the location of Thrawn?
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the outside in space lightsaber fight with the fighter jets just for a minute? I know cult culture, you mentioned that before, but
can I just mention that terry cloth spacesuit's not going to help a whole lot either?
Well, I want to point out something where I kind of like slower paced TV shows. Like, I don't mind them. So like the pace of Ahsoka hasn't bothered me all that much. And I'm kind of one of those people who like, I see like some good stuff in the show, but it's so outweighed by the dumb stuff that it's hard to like it. And I was with the episode up to that point where she gets out on the wing and she starts having a lightsaber duel with actual like space fighters. And at that point, I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen on TV, especially in a Star Wars show. And I've seen The Last Jedi, you know. So I wanted to get your guys' take on this. What was your take on that fight scene? Odin, let it rip.
Well, again, I go back to what I had even mentioned in my comments about how I think one of the worst parts of it was the fact that you have these several ships, like not even just one ship, but several ships that are all going after this one, and yet somehow, some way, she is able to fight them all off. They're all shooting at her when there are different parts of the ship that they could be aiming at, or they could, be going at different angles, different vectors of attack. I mean, there's so many other things that could have been done if they had actually been smart. I also like how at one point the, Lady Morgan or whoever that is, eyeliner lady, how she is at one point, it's like, look, there they are. They're just right there. And then doesn't shoot them right away. It's just like, oh my goodness, this is so silly. And I'm pretty sure in that fight, she at one point does a jump, right? And does like an arc and it lands back on the ship.
Like
but then
there's
she does
gravity,
yeah.
Yeah.
But then she does it again, and then she starts floating away. And she's like, can you come grab me? And it's like, okay, that doesn't make any sense.
I have a question. And anybody that thinks they know the answer can try to answer this. But why does Ahsoka have to go out there in her terry cloth spacesuit and dual spaceships with her fighter or with her lightsaber when all she has to do is sit inside the cockpit and reach out and grab one with her force hand and crush it?
Yeah. Also, she doesn't need to be floating away because we've established that the Force can move you.
Yeah, she should be able to just if Jedi can bring down capital ships with the Force, why can't she just sit there and go and pop them in space? Why do we even have to have dogfights in space with Jedi when they can just pick up ships and throw them around, do whatever the hell they want with them?
Convenience of plot.
Real quick,
am I wrong? Am I wrong? Have they not established that Jedi people can do this?
They've established it multiple times.
Multiple times.
Hold on a sec, real quick, before we get too deep into this. I want to give a big shout out to William Forbus, who just gifted 20 memberships.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, William. That is very generous of you. Great birthday present. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Brian, what's your take on the lightsaber duel in space with the fighter ships?
I didn't see that.
Remember, he fell asleep.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm with you when it comes to why don't you just reach out and crush them? We've seen that multiple times. I feel like that's now established as something we can do. So, which the problem with Star Wars, they've introduced so many like universe canon breaking things that now you watch it, you're like, well, why don't you just do that? Why don't we just hyperspace the thing into the thing and it'll solve the problem?
Yeah,
doesn't work.
That is very true. We got a couple of super chats we're going to get to here right now. So we got member comment from Chappie for 1 month. Hey guys, I'm looking forward to today's show. Happy birthday. I refuse to call you Mr. Kadish. Thank you, Chappie. Very nice of you. And from Salty Superstar, William Forbus for $10. Happy B-Day, Mr. Kadish. I'm with Vader. I'm just over it. I was a fan of Rebels, and this feels like a Force is female BS, taking a big dump on more things we like or love. Ugh, just over it.
See,
I'm right
William
there with you,
Forbus.
William.
Forbus is
He gets
stud.
it.
I like that guy. He does.
He gets it. Yeah.
Ooh.
I really wish that they would hire competent writers for Star Wars shows.
Yeah, I wish they would do that for a lot of things. So,
Yes. Or at least Chat GTP. So
yeah.
David Nelson for $4.99 watched the new One Piece on Netflix and it was wonderful. What are your thoughts on it? Hail the 199. I've been texting Vader saying like, dude, you have to check out this show on Netflix called One Piece. It's freaking tons of fun.
I like One Piece.
I watched the first episode. I'm in. I just have to find the time to watch the rest of them. So
I saw the first episode. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'm about 3 episodes in, and it is one hell of a fun show. I wasn't familiar with the manga that it's based on, but once you get into it, it's really phenomenal, and it's made by the same people who did the Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation.
Have you think they learned some lessons?
Well,
obviously learned something if people like it.
There's an article that says that they learned from Cowboy Bebop that people want them to stick to the source material, and so for One Piece,
shocker,
they worked with the creator of the manga to make sure that they were faithful to the source material, and people love it. And that's something they didn't do with Cowboy Bebop. So found that kind of interesting. And we have $20 from No Money G. Thank you so much, No Money. Happy birthday, Matt. Hope you all have a good one. And we hope you all have a good one too. Thanks for always being here. No money. Appreciate you. And Dennis Wright for 1999. In honor of Sir Kadish's birthday, what's your favorite movie? Best guilty pleasure film and movie you love to hate the most? Let's start with you, Matt Vader. How do you answer those 3 questions?
Am I these are my picks or picks that you think that I would think
these are your picks.
I don't know, man. My favorite movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Movie I love to hate the most, probably Princess Bride.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How
And
dare you.
dude, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm sorry. It's just
That's inconceivable.
No, yeah, and that's why I don't like it, because it's just a bunch of stupid one-liners. Best guilty pleasure film? I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Ask me in a little while I think about it. I don't know. Best guilty pleasure film.
Let me throw this to Joe and Lamar. How do you guys answer these 3 questions?
My favorite movie is Terminator 2. Since I was a kid, I love that movie. Guilty pleasure, Island of Dr. Moreau from the 90s. I love that. And the movie I love to hate, probably Midsummer.
Oh yeah, you hate that with a passion, Joe. You hate it. Good Lord. For me, I assume, correct?
Yep.
I would have to say it's like a tie between either Collateral and Heat by Michael Mann. I just like his style a lot. So those are my 2 favorite films. Guilty pleasure film, Mission Impossible 2. Everybody shits on that movie, but it is so over the top at the end. And the dubs.
John Woo, man. John
Woo, yeah. And then love to hate the most, The Kingsman. Everybody likes that movie, but I feel like it's so over the top. It's really dumb. Like, people swear they're out of that movie, and I'm just like, no, The Kingsman's not. Yeah.
Hey, would Point Break work for a guilty pleasure movie, or is that just a cool movie?
No.
Oh, that's probably no.
What?
Anything can be a guilty pleasure movie, baby.
Yeah, anything can be.
I don't feel guilty when I watch it, and I always watch it. So I'll think
including Magic Mike XXL.
No.
All right, Price of Reason. What's your answer to those 3 questions?
I'd say that my favorite movie is The Godfather 1. Guilty pleasure films, I think that a lot of the Fast and Furious movies could probably fall into that category.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not very good movies, but I somehow enjoy watching them, even though they're dumb, if that makes any sense. And movie that I love to hate the most, I don't know if I have one. Hate is a strong word, but sometimes there's a movie that people are really excited about, and I don't get excited about it, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World or whatever it is. I don't love that movie, and there's people that are like, dude, that's the best one. Or Brick by Rian Johnson. People are like, well, he didn't do good with Last Jedi, but Brick is brilliant. Well, I don't think Brick is brilliant. I think, I don't want to say a bad word on your show, Kadish, but I think that it's feces.
You can say shit. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay, man.
Yeah. Shit, then.
Yeah. All right, let me throw.
What about the Austin Powers movies? Are those guilty pleasure movies?
I like those.
Anything can be a guilty pleasure.
I know. I like those movies. I don't know. That's a hard question.
Right.
Vader, you're overthinking it, man.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah. Let me throw this to Mark. Mark, can you answer these 3 questions?
Oh heavens! If we don't count Star Trek, then I'd have to say that my favorite movie is Fargo.
Nice.
I think that my guilty pleasure is probably Starship Troopers.
I like that movie.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And then a movie that I love to hate the most, it's the worst movie that I really like, or it's the best of the terrible movies ever made. M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. It's so close to being a decent movie that it's like heartbreaking. So I always watch it as an object lesson to remind myself about how movies oughtn't to be made.
Oughtn't is a word. Yes. Okay. John David. How do you answer these 3?
Well, I've been sitting here thinking and listening to everyone else's responses. Honestly, probably Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite movie of all time, with a close second with maybe An American Werewolf in London, or maybe Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers might be the close second, with London being a close third. Guilty pleasure. Ooh, boy, you all mentioned a whole bunch of them. Starship Troopers is schlock. It is total schlock, but
the only good dog's a dead
bug. So much fun watching it. Oh my god! It's just, so it might be Starship. It might be Starship Troopers, but there's a special place in my heart for actually the first Super Mario Brothers movie. That movie's crap. It's absolute crap. We were talking about this at a job once, and one guy who never says anything. I mentioned the movie once. He speaks up the first 2 words or 3 words that we've ever heard him say. He goes, "That movie's shit." So, well, yeah, it is. But when I saw it, it was the last day of school, and I was with my 3 best friends in the world, and we spent the entire day, the rest of the day at the mall. We played video games. We had pizza. We saw this really bad movie. Even then, we knew, man, this movie's crap. This movie's total crap, but we're having fun. So it's a special. It holds a special place in my heart for that. Movie you love to hate, anything Twilight.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Anything Twilight. And whenever I meet an adult who is a fan of Twilight, I just kind of go, "Really? Why are you a fan of Twilight?" And just, I don't know. I just am. Just okay. That's not an answer.
Hey,
Come on.
Sparkle.
Well, we know what their guilty pleasure is.
Tell them to go watch True Blood, an actual good vampire for chicks. That'd be fun.
That's good. That's a pretty good show for chicks.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, John David, you have to get going. Thank you so much for being here today. Where can people find more about you, and where can people?
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Well, you can check out morgala.net. Diary of a Lonely Demon is I had it in the wrong hand. Diary of a Lonely Demon. It's now on audiobook, and I'm pretty proud of that. And I can't wait. I'm now on TikTok of all places. Holy crap! But I have some people helping me there. Some young people.
Well, the Talk of Ticks is definitely the place to discover new books. Thank you so much for being here, John David, and be sure to check out his author page on Amazon and check out his Morgala series. It's a really good book series. So thanks for being here, buddy. Okay.
with the delays, it made it look like he threw the books in the air at one point.
I saw it.
And real quick, I know Lamar's got to get going. Lamar, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you stopping in. Where can people find out more about you?
It's Perfect Turd Podcast. Yeah, I'm always with Joe. So yeah, if you know where Joe is, you probably know where I am. So yeah, Perfect Turd Podcast on Instagram. I was about to say the wrong thing. X and
Twix.
Yeah, oh, is Twix now? I like that better than X.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like porno. So yeah, so you can find us on those, and then also on Facebook. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it.
Peace.
All right. And joining us now.
Gone.
Yes. Joining us now is the man, the myth, the legend with the beard. We have the Shagsworth.
Ooh. Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Shagsworth.
Good to see you, sir. All right,
good to
so
see
we're doing Dennis Wright's question here. So Shagsworth, what's your favorite movie, best guilty pleasure film, and movie you love to hate the most?
Ooh. I heard a couple of your answers here. My favorite movie of all time, I just did a little show on it. It's called 12 Angry Men. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with it. Yes. The 1957 version, not the 1997 made-for-TV movie. But yeah, that's probably one of the best films ever made from many different angles, in my opinion. Guilty pleasure film. Any of those like campy, like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies are probably like something I'll put, like, Kindergarten Cop or like Jingle All the Way. Like those are things that I'll put on, especially with like my kids now, like because they're just appropriate enough but inappropriate for them to handle and me to enjoy. Movie that I love to hate the most, this is tough. I don't anything by Disney in the last 5 years. I don't know. It's a really it's
that's a legit answer. Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly that's probably the safest route I can go. I am pretty accepting of movies just because I like to, I don't know, I like to escape reality. But a lot of the stuff from Disney is probably this like, I want to love it, but I can't help but just have this seething hate for it at the moment. So I don't know. But yeah,
all good answers. Odin, can you answer the trifecta here?
I can. So for my top film, I typically give 3 films as an answer because it changes based on the day. They are Casablanca, probably at the #1 spot, 12 Angry Men, thank you for mentioning that, and also It's a Wonderful Life. Those are just my top 3 films all time, and depending on the time of year, one of them will be in the #1 spot, and then they'll kind of shift positions. Casablanca tends to be in that top position. Best guilty pleasure film, I'm glad no one has mentioned it so far. It has to be Tommy Wiseau's The Room. It is the worst film ever made, and yet it is just the funniest film that's ever been created. If you go to a midnight showing especially, and you throw in spoons at the screen, it is just, again, so much fun. So much better than the Rocky Horror Experience, by the way, if any Rocky Horror fans out there. I've been to that. It's okay. It's fine. Has nothing on The Room. The Room is so much funnier. And then movie I love to hate, because should come as no surprise for anyone that knows me, Avatar 1 and 2, the entire Avatar universe. It sucks. I hate that people love it. I hate that people love it.
I agree with you. Avatar
it looks
sucks.
so pretty. It's just so pretty. Yeah, but the storyline sucks.
It sucks. Anyway. Avatar's the worst. I hate it. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know why anyone likes that film.
Can I give an honorable mention for best film too? I always forget this one, but Odin helped me kind of remember it with his answers. But Arsenic and Old Lace, I think, is one of the best movies ever made too, and it just, no one ever talks about it, I feel like, but it's such a funny, good movie of the time. I just think kind of holds up now still. So
where's Back to the Future in all these answers?
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
It's a perfect film. Yeah. I don't understand.
Trilogy, really, I should say.
The one with Eric Stoltz in it. No?
Well, Brian,
alternate universe.
Yeah, that sounds like a cue that you want to answer these 3 questions.
Yeah, wow. Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. I'm with Odin. So my favorite movies shifts around a lot, but Back to the Future is always on that list. I also like Star Trek: The Voyage Home and Star Wars. Excuse me. But Back to the Future is my favorite film. My best guilty pleasure is any Blumhouse movie, specifically Happy Death Day, which I adore.
That's a great
Everyone
movie.
thinks I'm nuts. I love that movie. It's awesome. It's a science fiction franchise, and no one knows it. It's awesome. And the movie I love to hate the most is Avatar. Avatar sucks. It's a shitty film that constantly gets praised by people that don't understand that it's a shitty film, and it doesn't deserve to be anywhere near Endgame's money-made record. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It's a shitty film. And also The Batman. I didn't like that movie. It was way too dark. Do I need to wear night vision goggles just to see what the f*** is going on? For the love of God, that movie sucked. All right, moving on.
All right. Culture Casino. What are your answers?
Well, first of all, I want to say hats off to Odin for mentioning a Capra film. That is fantastic, dude. In fact, but my favorite switch is depending again on my mood. It's either the original Star Wars film, Star Wars, or Empire Strikes Back, because they I don't know what happens in my mind, but it's like, oh no, Empire is definitely my favorite. And then I'm like, oh no, but the original Star Wars. It's like, it's bad. So that's just a battle in my brain. My guilty pleasure film, everybody knows this because I've mentioned it several times. Showgirls unrated.
That's a great movie.
Is the unrated different than the rated?
It's a fantastic film.
Yes. Odin just
one is rated R and one is porn.
I'm being judged hard. He's going to be like, you need to go and see Father Miller.
Exactly.
That would be.
I feel dirty now. Gosh.
I feel dirty.
Showgirls would be number 1 on my list of movies that are terrible, but for some reason I can't ever not watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie, man. It's not a good movie. It's awful. We all know it's awful, but
yeah, and
there's something about Jesse Spano rolling around on a pole that just is crazy. I still can't get that swimming pool scene out of my head. It's there. It's there.
Have you seen the rated version of that?
Oh my God.
Anyway. the boss gets mad when I watch that movie. Anyway.
Oh,
all right, and then finally the worst. This is the other problem. The worst is going to be tough for me because I feel like Neil Breen is the worst filmmaker making the worst films. He's made a new one that I have not seen yet because I haven't hung out with Mad Mardigan. But the one before the one he just made is called Twisted Pair. It is god awful, and the only thing that I would put in there, and this is going to make people mad. This is the one that's going to irritate everybody. Legends of the Fall is a trash film. Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
That's a chick flick, dude.
Is that the one with Brad Pitt or something?
Is.
Yes.
None of us are disagreeing with you.
I don't even know that one.
No,
actually.
I'll give you that, Culture. Let's throw it under the bus. I don't care about that movie.
We'll talk later, Culture. We'll talk later.
All right. Well, my answers here.
I'm surprised Shags didn't say my favorite film is The Notebook. Okay, bro.
13 going on 30.
Indeed. All right. My answers to these questions, I have to agree with Culture on my favorite movie. In fact, I said it on his show last night, which is the original Star Wars, A New Hope. I have a lot of nostalgia feelings for that one because when I was very young, my family was stationed in Germany, and Star Wars A New Hope was the only English language movie we had on VHS. So I must have watched that thing a million different times. That movie I love to hate the most, I'm actually surprised no one mentioned this, The Last Jedi, obviously.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that Paul Verhoeven seems to be the head for Best Guilty Pleasure creator of movies on this panel. But my favorite guilty pleasure movie is a truly terrible horror movie from Stephen Sommers, the maker of the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies. And it stars Treat Williams and Famke Jensen. And it's called Deep Rising. And it is the most ludicrous, kind of like silly, stupid horror movie you've ever seen. But it does it in such a fun manner. I can't help but love it. So like that is my favorite guilty pleasure film out there. So real quick, we have a super chat from Salty Superstar and top contributor to the Saturday live stream, Mr. Scotty Dub for $99.99. Thank you so much, sir. Very generous of you. We appreciate all the support you've given us. Happy birthday, Mr. Kadish. Since I have been honorably knocked off my perch by William Forbus, I humbly offer this meager token to bid you a great Saturday, superb weekend, and great reminder of this podcast. Enjoy your now well done episode with enjoying now your well done episode with Culture Casino last night. Thank you, Scotty. It was fun. Really appreciate Culture having me on his show yesterday. It was a really good time. And we talked a lot about Star Wars. Do you guys have any other topics you want to cover before we move on?
Well, since two of y'all had mentioned Star Wars, I mentioned in the chat as well, but I don't know if y'all can read it at any point, but do y'all have, for the two that said that it was y'all's favorite, do y'all have the Harmy's Despecialized editions or the Project 4K editions?
I want the Project 4K. I have the despecialized editions, the first ones that I could get my hands on, but I have no idea where they are. I think they're in the storeroom.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What about you, Mr. Kadish?
No.
All right. Well, that's going to be my birthday present to you. So we'll talk.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I should have said I don't have them too.
It's not your birthday, Brian.
Oh, damn it! I got the original VHSs.
Nice.
Like the original. I got the 3 original, and I'm never taking them down because I'm pretty sure one of them stopped working.
Because Baby Thor, one of his favorite films is Star Wars. He's seen all 3 originals, and that's right. I say all 3 originals multiple times over, and so therefore I've seen them. But I've been watching the OG versions, or as close as you can get to the OG versions, without all the added CGI crap that he put in the specialized versions.
So just make sure you stop there. Don't ever need to show them the prequels or.
Yeah, I might do the prequels, maybe.
No, you don't have to
because they're hilariously bad. Like that's how I might introduce him to like. He's got to know the memes. He's got to understand the memes.
No,
you times are against me.
Me so hungry.
Hey, we don't want to transition anyone over to the prequels, okay?
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, bro.
All right, real quick, we got a super chat from another salty superstar, the AstroNerdBoy, for $10.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, Mr. Kadish. Hope you have a good one. I'm getting ready for my cross-country move. So I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Good luck, AstroNerdBoy. It's exciting that you're moving
safe
someplace
travels.
new. Yes, safe travels.
Moving sucks. Holy crap. I do not, especially across the country. That was when we moved from Oregon to Vegas. That was 1,000 miles, and I don't ever want to have to do that again. I'm willing to do it one more time. I'm willing to move to another state at some point, but that'll be my last move. It's when Kadish just sends me over the edge, and I'm gonna tell him I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
Screw you guys. I'm out of here.
Screw you guys. I'm out of here. Yeah.
We're moving amateurs. I moved from Connecticut to Hawaii twice.
Oh my God.
Amateurs. All of you.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. By choice?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, once because my wife and I, we were going to have our first, so we moved back to be close to my family, and then we realized, nope, we missed the beach too much.
Yeah.
So we picked up everything and moved back. I'll tell you what, I will almost always use a moving company from now on, because that was the best money ever spent. Oh my gosh.
Well, I moved every 3 years growing up, so Shags, know your role, stay in your lane. So,
wow.
Air Force brat right here. Overseas to Europe, back all over the place. So.
Oof, yeah.
And the guy who is far too busy to join the live stream, but not busy enough to drop a super chat for $5, Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark. Happy birthday. Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate you. All right, guys. So now that we've gone through the super chats, there is one thing I want to ask you guys about, which is Strike Force 5. No, this is not a new TV show. This is a group of late night talk show hosts who have gotten together to do a podcast, and they all look miserable doing it. Have you guys seen any of this stuff?
Yes, I saw it.
Right, what did you think of it, Brian?
For the love of God. Out of the combined amount of years of experience in television, and they can't frame a camera, John Oliver's like this.
he really is, yeah.
It's crazy. The mic is bigger than his head. He's like, hey, guys. It's nuts, dude. It's like watching 5 people you don't know who know nothing about live streaming deciding to do a podcast. But these are people you know, and they have a combined 100 years of experience. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's really not it's not interesting. They all look sort of nervous, and it's like they need a bunch of writers and lights, and they need a team to make them entertaining. I didn't think they were entertaining with the team. So without the team, it was just cringy.
They're extremely cringy. So I want to throw this to Mark, because Mark, you have experience working in LA with actors and stuff like that. Are all actors just kind of this clueless about how to be on camera?
They're terrible.
Without being directed? What's your take?
Terrible. My partners in this show are Connor Trenier and Dominic Keating, who were both in Star Trek Enterprise, and that fandom is really intense. So they're used to that. And when we started producing the show, I was like, listen, you guys, we're all partners, and I really want you to be as involved or as not involved as you want to be. But I promise you we'll all be happier if you just stand where I ask you to stand, say what I ask you to say, and go home when I ask you to go home.
Right.
That it always works out best, because then they can be themselves. They can be that sort of charismatic thing that we all are drawn to, without carrying the baggage of actually having to work.
Well, what's interesting about this is that when you watch this stuff, it doesn't look like any of them actually want to be there. At least Stephen Colbert can kind of pretend better than the other guys that he's having fun, but it just seems so obvious that Jimmy Fallon is just annoyed that he's got to be on this live stream. Seth Gordon just looks like he's like, why am I here? Joe, have you seen Strike Force 5?
I didn't see it. I heard about it, and I agree with what Brian was saying too. Without all the stuff surrounding them, these generally aren't that interesting of people, and I really don't know what's happened to that whole late night talk show business, because it's it used to be kind of fun, and now it's just another outlet to get a message across or whatever message that they have. They open the shows with a joke segment, but all the jokes are political, and it's wow, you don't have anything else.
You don't remember Stephen Colbert opening up with the vaccine sing along,
right? So
it's the dancing needles,
they've become part of the establishment.
Yes.
In the past, I think these late night people used to be sort of counterculture. They were still somewhat part of the establishment, but you had people that were sort of breaking the rules and doing things a little different, like Letterman and maybe Johnny Carson. But these guys they've just become the establishment. And once you've become that, you're not cool anymore. That's just my opinion.
Kimmel, especially department of
Kimmel.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny because it used to be late night would make fun of everything, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Carson, especially Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien was really good at just like kind of lampooning everything. And now it's just it's very partisan. Shag Wars, what's your take on Strike Force 5, and why do you think they decided to call it that name?
I don't know. I think it's some horrible marketing, quite honestly. And I think these guys are too in love with themselves to work together long enough to create a cohesive unit. And and the whole late night spot is dead anyway. I mean, you have so many of these big names anyway starting their own podcasts and even like YouTube shows, or on these video sharing platforms that are way more successful that people can consume whenever. Before, the late night spot was the place you went to, get your message out to be known, and it's just not necessary anymore. And they're way late to the party on this, but I just don't think it works because they're just too into themselves. And like you said, you could see that some of them just, the camera's not on me. Why not? Like, why can't I be the center of attention? And it's too bad because I think at one point these guys were really talented. At least some of them were. And becoming, like I said, part of the establishment has really ruined them in a lot of ways. But honestly, I'm just not all that sad about it. It makes room for plenty of better content out there, more authentic content that people I think are willing to consume, and don't have to force these ideas on people anymore. So
it is kind of funny to see how Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla kind of started the Man Show together. And the divergent paths that they took, where Adam Carolla is very kind of based and red pilled, and Jimmy is just so far to the left that he can't see it.
That's why
he forgot what it looked like. Yeah, Adam started podcasting before it was cool, man.
Yep.
The Adam Carolla pirate ship was a thing.
Yep. But culture, one of the reasons that these five guys are doing this is to basically earn enough money from Spotify to pay their crews who are out of work because of the strike. So at least there's some kind of altruistic motivation here, but you can I think you can tell that none of them really want to be doing this, right? They just rather be kind of off sipping martinis by the beachside somewhere.
Well, I think the faux altruism that you're referring to is exactly that, completely false. I'm like, maybe that was their their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow thing that they wanted to present to the public. But what it really is about keeping themselves in their minds and their publicists' minds, and maybe the show runners' minds, keeping them relevant. Because they've lost relevance. Nobody cares that they're gone. I mean, you have to consider the fact that that spot in television has been dwindling over the course of the last 15 years anyway. Late night shows have been failing. I mean, I know, my observation has always been that, they're better when they're edgy. And these shows haven't been edgy. They've been very safe and very establishment oriented. They're also better when they have real talent. And they take somebody like Mark's advice, and they keep quiet, stand where they're supposed to stand, and say what they're supposed to say, right? I mean, that's when all of these people are better. And they've also been hampered by the reliance on a very untalented writer's room. And they don't have that untalented writer's room to even come up.
They're not hiring based on talent anymore.
Yeah.
They hire based on whose parents work there, and then they hire on what makes them look like they are the most precious about diversity.
Which is fine, if that's it. But as long as they also have talent, I think that's the thing they should be looking for.
That's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for talent.
It's just like merit. But to get back to that, I would love to believe in, Rainbow World, that or Neverland, whatever you want to call it, that they're doing it purely out of the kindness of their heart. It's just, we know better. They've revealed themselves in so many different ways publicly, and they've garnered this level of disdain that you can't believe anything they say, even if it's something that they're trying to convey as authentically from the bottom of their heart. So I like I said, I figured something like this was bound to happen, because like I said, they have to try to, in their own minds and in all the people that make money off of them in their minds, they have to keep these guys relevant, but they haven't demonstrated relevance in a long time. And yeah.
Well, let me throw this to Odin. Odin, in the YouTube age, where you have shows like Friday Night Tights, where you have shows like the Tuesday Night Main Event, and Critical Drinker, Open Bar, stuff like that. Is late night TV even relevant anymore? Like, do people actually tune into these shows, and as opposed to like just going on YouTube and watching their favorite live streamers?
It seems to me that as far as audiences go, the only people that are probably actively watching these shows with any consistency, and the writer's strike is just going to make that number even less, are like the older baby boomer demographic, right? Because I remember when I was growing up, my mom would always be watching Letterman, right? Back before he went completely insane. That's what I grew up watching, was some of Letterman, some of Conan O'Brien, and some of those shows. And so I know that obviously there's going to be at least a handful of younger people that are going to be watching these, quote, modern woke comedians. But I honestly think that a lot of these older demographics, they're just in that habit, right? What do? You turn on the Late Show, you turn on the Tonight Show. That's just what you do. You have a new host. Okay, I don't really like him as much, but it's what you do because it's how you keep up with general entertainment and everything. And a lot of times these jokes that we can be a lot more sensitive to or understand, a lot of times it just goes over their head, right? So for instance, we cringe when we look at the, and rightly so, when we look at the whole jab dance thing. I guarantee you a lot of the baby boomers and a lot of the olders, probably like a lot of older people probably just said, oh, okay, all right, I guess that's kind of funny. It's silly, right? They're not really thinking necessarily about it. I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but that is the only reason why I can perceivably understand as to how they're still on the air, how they're still able to have any revenue stream. It's that older demographic that has not discovered new media, has not discovered that on YouTube you can find, kind of going back to a point that was made earlier, the fact that they have all that money and their show looks like a starting off point for someone that is just getting into the space is just laughable, and it's just sad. It kind of just shows you how little raw understanding that they have, how much stuff is just given to them on a platter, and if any of them at any point was a good comic or was a good comedian, how much they've lost by being involved in this industry for as long as they have, because it's pathetic.
Well, and if I can add on to that too, like what I was thinking, like what's the first thing I noticed about like all of them, it looks like they had that like a podcast kit shipped to them. We're like, hey, plug this into your computer and put these headphones on because this is what you need to look like. Like there was just no care put into it. Like, because even Russell Brand, like when he started his stuff, like you could tell he's evolved over time and it looks better, but like he at least understood the optics that needed to happen. Like I need to look professional, but also look homey and well-read and all this stuff. These guys are just, yeah, they look like it's like the YouTube equivalent of your grandfather or grandparents taking their picture for Facebook, and it's that weird like downward or upward angle, and they have no composition skills or anything. Like,
hey guys, real quick, I want to bring some new voices into this chat. So first of all, we got Badam coming to us from.
Are you serious? I am a celebrity. You should know my name by now. Bat Tom. Get it right.
Yes. Sorry.
And I'm here because somebody spent me $20 to do this for you. This thing here says, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday." Insert kid's name here. Happy birthday to you. Where's my $20?
Culture.
I think the furry guy said he was going to pay me.
Already sent it to you.
The guy who looks like a Muppet.
Already sent it to you.
Which one? The
one on the up above me here. The guy that looks on the right here, it's a trap.
Pat Tom, look at your PayPal.
Okay, fine.
All right. And real quick, coming from the Dub show, producer duties set aside for the weekend, we have Jonas J. Campbell.
Oh,
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh no, this is in between producing duties. I'm
yes.
It's a pleasure to be on the Salty Nerd podcast, and happy birthday
Thank you. You're the one man on this panel who understands what I go through on a daily basis.
Oh man, it is an amazing thing to try to keep people moving along. I don't know. I'd say Tom.
Chopped liver.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tom has a pretty good idea.
I got to wrangle cats on a daily basis, man.
I'm not a cat, dude.
Yes, you are.
All right.
You're like a big fuzzy cat.
You know, I was saying it in the background here, but I think that all of those all those guys, those former Tonight what was the show? Today Show people that Hollywood just said, oh no, we need more of that. We need to inject that into everything. All of those guys are looking at what we've got out here, and they're like, oh, we want to make people confused and think that we're as relatable as all those people that are actually relatable, and that's why they've got all those low production values.
Indeed. Tom Connors, what's your take on Strike Force 5?
They're trying to be us.
Pretty much.
Because they're afraid. They know that we are taking their audience away. And I don't mean Midnight's Edge. I mean all of us in general, YouTubers. Because we're more genuine. People would rather, you asked Odin that question. And yeah, I think people would rather listen to us than listen to these bipartisan idiots. Because I think it was Shags who brought it up. He's right. Like Carson, Letterman, all those guys, even Leno especially, never tried to get too deep into the pot. Like they were very safe when it came to their political jokes. And there was a reason for that. They didn't want to alienate any of their crowd, especially Middle America, where the heart of their audience is. And unfortunately, what you have now is a bunch of late night hosts who are literally just playing to the coasts. Like they don't give a shit about anybody else outside of New York and LA. Fuck you. That's the way they see it. Because I think hopefully they're learning slowly that people have had enough of their nonsense. And I agree with all your observations. Like it really looks like Kimmel does not want to be there, and he was so pissed when he's like, "Which Jimmy?" It's like, anyway. Yeah, it's just pathetic. It's sad that they're trying to be so desperate to be like us. And they're trying to act like real people.
Well, before I get to Price of Reason here, I know that Shagsworth has to get going.
Yeah,
we
can't be in the same place for more than 2 minutes at the same time.
I just want. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say thank you for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm humbled that you thought of me. You're a great dude, and happy birthday. And to be in the presence of all these great creators too is awesome. So thank you guys. Have a great weekend, great day. We'll see you
Thanks
soon.
for being here, Shags. Appreciate it. Take care. And that means that we can bring Matt Vader back on. So Price of Reason, these the Strike Force 5, or as people in the chat are referring to them as Fox Force 5 from the Quentin Tarantino movie. What is your take on this? Do you think that these guys are just out of touch?
I think they don't care that much. They all have a lot of money. If they now try to, if they were at the beginning of their career and they wanted a career, they probably wouldn't have one. They're lucky that they're part of the old system. They made a ton of money. Each of them have tens of millions of dollars minimum in their bank account, and they can afford to sit around and do some dumb stream. You like it, good. You don't like it, it's fine. They have their contracts. Even if they all end now, it's not going to matter. As far as their ego goes, I'm sure they want to be loved and people to like them, and maybe they're jealous of what happens on YouTube, but I'm not worried about them personally.
I'm right there with you on that. Culture, I know you have to get going. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share, and where can people find more of you?
My final thoughts are easy. Support everybody on this panel. They're far more entertaining than late night, and they do great stuff. So check out Perfect Turd, check out the Shuttle Pod, check out WDW Pro, and Jonas never promotes his own channel. So check out everything woke about.
That one gets me in trouble because mostly I'm focused on and putting politics into kids content, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, and you do a great job of that. But everybody here, from Midnight's Edge and all the stuff that Tom does to the stuff that Odin focuses on, and then of course the guy that deserves to be subscribe to the most, Price or Reason. I'm constantly amazed at just how wonderful things are. And of course, here we are on Salty Nerd Podcast with the two Matts and Brian. And what an amazing group of people that will provide you information and entertainment and in some authenticity and humor. The humor is the most important part. I think that's the thing that most people miss, is that, and that's why you see the Strike Force 5 as this is a group of people that are just not funny.
Someday we'll get somebody that's funny on this show.
That would be great.
That'll never happen.
I volunteered Dan Vask. I gotta go. I'll see you later. Have a great one.
Later, buddy.
Bye, Culture.
Bye.
Back to
All
the
right,
Brady Bunch boxes.
Yeah. So Jonas.
Yes, sir.
We've seen Hollywood celebrities move into the YouTube world before. Most famously, Brie Larson doing her yoga videos, and they've always failed to connect with audiences. I think they'll get like a lot of subscribers because they're famous, but nobody watches their videos. Do you think it's the same situation here, where it's like, oh, all these late night guys are doing a podcast, I'm going to subscribe, but after the first video, you're just kind of like, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who has really been successful in the space.
John Bernthal, he's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a great podcast, but he's also he's able to use that celebrity cred to get fellow celebrities on his podcast. I think there's a carve out there for celebrities having celebrities on. Like Michael Rosenbaum probably has a pretty good YouTube channel, but it's mostly because he's got a really amazing podcast, Inside of You, right? I'll watch that, and then it'll recommend this one podcast full of Star Trek people that I'm watching a lot of, called the Shuttle Pod Show. Anyways, Jablinski Games was really good for a little while with Jack Black. But I don't think he was really dedicated to doing it long term. I think Jack Black was just trying to put a stamp on it. He was visiting. He was a tourist in the space.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about all the stuff that you've mentioned is like they're actually like podcasts, right? They're like formatted podcast. Whereas with Brie Larson and like other celebrities that kind of jump on, start like a YouTube channel, it's just kind of them, like they don't really know what they're doing. Like they're just doing stuff,
Yeah.
And it feels like that's what these guys are doing.
Right. Zegler's got a YouTube channel, which I would never recommend that someone who was hosting a news site would go through all of the things that she's said on her own platform and try to mine that for even more ridiculous quotes. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more celebrities with YouTube pages as or whatever platform we all end up on in the future. I think there's going to be a lot more of it. But right now, watching all of these boomer comedians try to figure out how to do YouTube is hilarious.
Well, let me throw this to Mark, because I know, like, you've made movies in the past, you've worked in Hollywood. Does Hollywood really look at YouTube as like competition, or do they not really take it seriously?
They don't take it seriously even a little bit. We've been talking about the late night guys doing their podcast. They probably think that it would be fun to get out there for their fans, and I think they probably believe the idea they're doing it to raise money to pay their crews, but they don't think for 1 second that this is real, the way TV is real.
And Brian, what's interesting is like you have people like Tucker Carlson, who was like the #1 guy in cable news. He moves to Twix, starts his own kind of like social media TV show, which is cross-published to YouTube, and he ends up beating out the typical late night or news shows by tens of millions of views. Do you think that it's a mistake for YouTube or for Hollywood to be sleeping on new media?
No, I mean, yes, I think it's a mistake, but are we sure that he got that many views? Because we're not 100% on how Twitter actually tracks views, right?
Well, we know that they count views differently from like a typical Nielsen rating, but even like if you extrapolate it out, like Tucker's still getting more views than the typical late night primetime like news show.
Wasn't he doing that even when he was on TV, between you and me?
No, not really. He was like, people were pulling clips of his from his Fox show, and those were getting a lot of views. But I believe his interview with Trump during the what is it? The
Republican
first
debates.
Yeah, the first Republican debates. So they said that he got something like 160 million views. And if you know how Twitter counts views, like not all of those are legit. But
Yeah,
I believe like people who like actually broke it down said something like he got like 12 or 15 million like actual like TV style views on that thing, which was I think more than what the actual debates brought in. So it's pretty interesting what's going on there. But I feel like a lot of these celebrities don't really know about how social media works or how YouTube works or what the audiences consume there. But it seems like Spotify threw them a bunch of money to do this. I wonder if Spotify is going to regret spending that cash.
The problem is that celebrities they're not writers. They're not content creators. And the ones that were stand-up comedians 15, 20 years ago. All of these late night guys have had writers for 20 years, and creative producers telling them what to do, what's funny, how to, when you are on camera, this is one of the things, Matthew, that I have to give you props for, and Matt and Brian, whose shows I've seen and participated in. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of you guys, but you guys, big props out to you guys, because you are capable of carrying a show from segment to segment. You're cognizant that you touch on a subject and then you have to move on, or you'll all just keep jabbering on. And
that's what I've been missing.
I'm not good at jabbering on about anything. Yeah,
it's a different skill set, and when you're the talent, you're used to just the cameras pointing at you when somebody talks.
Kadish, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I used to work in Hollywood.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We
know, bro.
We know.
You did? Wait.
We all know.
Yes.
That's
just making
Kadish's
sure.
partner.
Yeah, just making sure, because I know that there are some people out there who might not know that. Matt Vader 74, what's your take on Strike Force 5? Do you even care?
No, I don't care. I haven't watched it. I think they need to, like I said in the chat, I think they need to stay in their lane and do what they do, which is produce shows that nobody watches at midnight. Shit. The whole to me, I haven't watched a late night show in probably since Letterman retired. For real, I haven't. It's not a thing to me anymore. In my Gen X generation, I mean, you guys are in it. Our parents all watched that stuff if they were up that late at night. And, I watched late night television for a very long time, but it was mostly Letterman. I was a Letterman guy. He was funny. I still love his top 10 lists. You can go find them on the internet. They're funny to watch, him interacting with, Paul and all those kind of things. But I just think the late night genre of the whole thing where, we're going to be on show for an hour. We're going to tell some jokes and we're going to have some celebrities come on and plug your things. It's not necessary anymore in this new technologically advanced YouTube internet age, because that's what we do. We've all had celebrities on our shows and talked about things. It's just not a necessary form of entertainment, and people are moving past broadcast network television shows. I never thought there would be a day where if my wife went and turned the TV cable off that I would not get upset, but I wouldn't care anymore. I just wouldn't care, because there's nothing on there that I watch. I spend 99% of my time in front of a computer, or I hate to admit this, on my phone watching things. I don't. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, and the whole thing where you guys were talking earlier about, do these guys understand what they're missing out on? I don't think they understand what they're missing out on, but they have a lot of people that these five guys know probably very well, that are extremely successful in this YouTube podcast world, like Conan O'Brien. Yeah. That dude has embraced the internet. I don't know what happened to him, to why he got his shows canceled and why he's not on TV anymore. But
I think Jay Leno happened to him.
Yeah. But it's just, it sucks, because I think Conan's a pretty funny dude. And I haven't watched him in a long time, but I know he has a very large podcast presence out there. You know, there's guys like Jimmy Kimmel, or not Jimmy Kimmel, his partner from the Man Show,
Adam Carolla.
Adam Carolla. You know, he has a really good podcast out there, and but you know, it's like Mark said, these guys are comedians. They know how to create. They know how to write. You know, Conan's a writer. You know, he has that Saturday Night Live background, right?
And
well known for being a great guy to work with,
right?
Too. Hey, so here's the question that I have, and I don't want to diverge too much here, but if you gave the same resources as a Stephen Colbert, or the connections of a Stephen Colbert, or any of these guys to one of the guys on this panel, just think the difference in hunger level for what you would do if you had those connections to do a podcast right now, and you've got this Rolodex of if I'm dating myself by even saying Rolodex to say, if you had all of those connections, what kind of show would you put on the internet? It probably would come out a lot better. And and you have all of these people who have been in and around Hollywood for decades, and they've got, you know, 5 guys with grainy screens and headphones and microphones, and they're barely using them.
Well, to go off what you're saying, the thing that makes YouTube and streamers special is because we start channels to talk about things that we're passionate about. It's not just, let's just put 5 guys together because people know who they are or whatever, and let them do a show. It's completely void of anything of passion or whatever. So yeah, totally. If you gave these, you know, streamers like a bunch of money and resource, heck yeah, they would put on something way better.
They're also competitors, these 5, in a way. I mean, I don't know how much truly they love each other. I think that with us, like, we're all just kind of friends, whereas with them, I'm not sure that's really the case.
Right.
That's a very good point. And speaking of friends, I want to give a big shout out to Culture Casino, Shagsworth, Lamar from the Perfect Turd podcast, and the Nerds Talking guys, our favorite logo thieves. They actually logged in, but they weren't on long enough to come on the actual live stream. We appreciate those guys stepping on. And also No Green Rocks from the Legion of Memers. Thank you guys so much for coming on my birthday stream. We're going to be wrapping things up here. So real quick, Price of Reason, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Nothing. I don't think I have any real final thoughts, but I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. And I know some people here, some people I've sort of interacted with for the first time, and you guys are all cool. So, and in regards to where you can find me, I have Price of Reason on YouTube. That's where I'm mainly active these days. I just posted recently Equalizer 3 review, Ahsoka episode 3 review, and a few other things. And yeah, thanks for inviting me, man. Happy birthday.
Yeah, guys, Price has an excellent YouTube channel out there. He's really good at covering, like, you know, deep dives into different series and movies. Definitely go check him out, subscribe to him if you want to support good creators on YouTube. Speaking of good creators on YouTube, Tom Connors Jr., our favorite Midnight's Edge panelist, who's one of the busiest live streamers I've ever known in my life. Thank you so much for hopping on today, Tom. I know you're super busy. Where can people find more of you, and do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it today, so happy birthday, and hopefully many more. Yeah, you can find me later on Midnight's Edge. We're going to be having Flashcast tonight on the main channel, so see you there. Flash is under the weather, but hopefully you can join us. Other than that, you can find me on Midnight's Edge after dark. Thank you much.
I wonder if we put Tom's picture next to Odin's picture, if his shelves would fall down.
Would definitely be overwhelmed.
Don't you curse me with that bullshit.
Like, get some commingling of the shelves.
God was trying to send a message to Odin. I don't know what that message was.
It was to Hollywood, not me. Dang it.
You hope.
Yeah, just be funny to see all of Tom's shelves just like suddenly fall down.
I'm waiting for something to happen because I've been messing with AI Jesus too much.
Oh yeah.
All right, and one of the hardest working men on YouTube, Jonas J. Campbell from the Scotty Dub and Valiant Renegade shows. Jonas, do you have any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
I tend to go on forever when I really do have a thought, and I have none, so I'll stop there. I have a channel that Culture kind of shouted out there. It's my name, Jonas J. Campbell, but the series is Everything Woke About, where we talk about all of the interesting things that are being put into children's entertainment. And when I'm using what I went to school for, I show up on Valiant Show and Pro Show and talk about the business and financial aspects of, well, it seems to be the Walt Disney Company these days, because there's a lot to go through there. And if not, guys, y'all can come on over. Currently, I got my hands on the Star Trek: The Next Generation Blu-rays, so going to be watching Measure of a Man, the HD extended edition. So y'all just come on over, grab a chair. Probably gonna run out of chairs, so
I was told there was no good episodes in the first 2 seasons, Jonas. So I don't know what you're talking about.
If you take out conspiracy, it's a much easier time.
Yeah.
All right, guys, real quick. I know that we're trying to wrap things up here, but I want to welcome Literature Devil to the live stream. Old friend of the show, Lit Dev. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hello. Thanks for having me on, and of course, happy birthday. How has it been awesome so far?
Oh, it's been great. You certainly know how to make an entrance right as we're wrapping the show up, but we appreciate you actually like dipping in and saying hi. It's always good to see you. What do you got going on your channel? And do you have any final thoughts on anything that might be going on in the world today?
Oh, well, so far I just did a video on the show My Adventures with Superman. Went over that one. It's a video that goes over my initial thoughts. I watched the first 8 episodes or so. And I will have another one out soon on My Adventures with Superman with more context and stuff. But other than that, I haven't really been watching Ahsoka or anything, or Star Wars. I, like the rest of the world, have not been watching Star Wars unless I need to. So that makes sense. But I think I plan to go watch The Equalizer 3 pretty soon. And that's about it. Unless I have to do that, unless I have to talk about it or whatever. The only thing recently I've kind of enjoyed has been actually the One Piece live action version. It's actually been okay, and I kind of got the hint that it would be okay because of how badly all the Netflix creators were complaining about it. And you won't let us ruin it. Why would Oda won't let us ruin things? And they're really sad about not being able to ruin it. And by that they mean we can't make our own vision of it. We can't do our own thing. He wants to make it like his manga. Oddly enough, surprise, surprise. But because they couldn't, because Oda was there to slap their hands away, it actually turned out pretty good. It's all right.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot, and it is quite like a manga brought to life. They tried to do that with Cowboy Bebop and kind of failed. But Lit Dev, always a pleasure to have you on the show. And of course, we've got a super chat for $5 from Salty Saturday Superstar William Forbus. Bye, everybody. Happy birthday, Mr. Kadish. Love you, Vader. And we've got another one from Mr. Forbus for $5. Also, he gifted 20 memberships earlier in the show, so appreciate that. Great show, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Forbus. Really appreciate you. Mark from the Shuttle Pod Show, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of your excellent podcast?
Happy birthday. They can find our podcast on YouTube, the Shuttle Pod Show. It's at Shuttle Pod Show on all the socials. I think we have a TikTok. I have no idea. Mostly I hang out on X. So if you want to make some Star Trek jokes with me, that's where I'm on.
And we've got another late addition to the stream, Script Doctor himself.
Oh. Hey, happy birthday, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you for showing up, even though we're winding things down. Appreciate you taking the time to grace us with your presence.
See, I wasn't the final guy. I wasn't that late.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Yes. Sorry for my tardiness, but yeah, I wanted to be here earlier, but unfortunately duty called. So I'm so happy I was able to sneak in as you're wrapping up so I could wish you in pseudo person happy birthday.
Thank you. Were you on the picket line? Is that why you were late to the show?
Oh, that's right. Yes. I was on the virtual picket line of sorts, so to speak. But no, one of the things that's happening right now, nobody can actually strike any deals, make any negotiations, talk to any studios. So a lot of people are just kind of writing to fill their own time in between their picketing. And not only am I one of them, but also some of them have reached out to me for consults. So I help workshop their scripts in between. And someone desperately needed me this morning. So I never turned down an opportunity. So that's why I was here. And I was very happy to be able to resolve their issues and hop on to chat with you and see everybody on this wonderful panel.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hopping on, Script Doctor. Always love your takes, especially on Midnight's Edge. We had Tom on a little bit ago, and unfortunately he had to leave. But you and LitDev and all these guys make YouTube worth watching. So we really appreciate you hopping on. Real quick, we got a super chat for $2 from E. Clay Tomlinson. Happy birthday, Mr. Radish. Stay salty.
Happy birthday.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
Thank you. Erica, the lovely hostess of the Shuttle Pod show, has graced us with her presence. Always appreciate that. How you doing, Erica?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I'm 1 year closer to death, which is a lot of fun.
Or 1 year closer to ascension.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Nothing. I'm
Nice.
just staying to myself.
Sounds fantastic.
Trying to stay out of trouble.
Well, you guys have
yeah.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Joe from the Perfect Herd podcast. Lamar was here with you earlier, your partner in crime. Do you have any final thoughts, and where can people find more of your excellent B-movie podcast?
Well, just happy birthday. Thanks for having us. And yeah, you can find us on the perfectherd.com is where we review all kinds of wacky B movies. Our next review is called Death Toilet Part 5, The Invasion of the Potty Snatchers. So that will be out Monday. So yeah, thanks and happy birthday.
There are 4 other death toilets?
Apparently, we didn't watch 1 through 4, but there are 5. So, and they left it open for a 6. So there you go.
Wow. God bless you. You're doing the Lord's work over there. Real quick, from Jillian N for $4.99, one of our big member gifters out there. Happy birthday, Mr. Kadish, and many more. Thank you to the panelists. You are all amazing creators. Jillian, thank you so much for your support. And I know that everyone in the chat is very appreciative of all the memberships that you've gifted over the course of our live streams.
I was going to say real quick, there's a super chat from Mark 47 up there we haven't hit yet either.
Oh, really? Did I miss Mark 47?
You did. You missed Mark 47.
I did. Thank you for reminding me of that. Mark's 47 for $5. Your shows make working Saturdays way better. Happy birthday, Mark. Waiting on that Tuvix interview. Yeah, Mark, when are we going to get Tuvix on the Shuttle Pod show?
That abomination.
Garrett Wong is on this Sunday, tomorrow morning, and we talk about Tuvix. Also, I had him. We just partnered with Unplanned Trek, podcast that gives out medals for Star Trek episodes, and we had Garrett introduce a segment intro for the Tuvix medal.
Well, that's awesome.
The captain was right.
Yes, indeed. So Odin, Shelf Master himself, any final thoughts, and what do you got going on your channel?
Well, first off, thank you for always having me here. It's always been fun. I was mentioning this to my wife. I've been mentioning actually for months now about how I always look forward to jumping on this podcast when Baby Thor goes for his nap. So seriously, thank y'all for always inviting me on, and happy birthday to you, Mr. Kadish. I'll say it this one time in seriousness, but seriously, it's been great. And you can check me out over at OMB Reviews. I just launched a new membership level thing because of my baby girl is going to be here in a couple weeks. So because of that, I'm not going to be able to keep up with certain things. And so I've tried to shift a few things around, and I got a lot of awesome giveaways going on this month. I just bought a ton of Kurosawa movies from Criterion because they're like half price right now. They've been doing that a lot more recently than in previous years. It used to be like once a year. Now it's like a few times a year that they go half price. So I got a ton of Kurosawa films that I'll be giving away. So check that out for more information.
Gotta love Kurosawa films, one of my favorite directors of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most mimicked, and one of the ones that Star Wars keeps ripping off very poorly.
Yeah. I'm staring at Hidden Fortress right now.
Yeah. Brian from the Popcast, any final thoughts, and what do you guys got going on over on your channel?
Happy birthday, dude.
Thank you.
That's my final thought, and a lot of good stuff happening over at the Popcast. Next Saturday, we should have our next video out, so don't miss that.
Awesome. And Matt Vader 74.
Hi.
What do we got going on the Salty Nerd podcast this coming week?
Before I tell us what's going on next week, I want to just wish birthday people a very happy birthday today. So I want to wish
birthday person
Salma Hayek and Keanu Reeves are both having birthdays today. I want to wish them both a very, very happy birthday. I think it's awesome.
Vader, say it. Say it, Vader.
That Keanu Reeves and Selma Hayek both have a birthday on today. I'll tell Matthew happy birthday tomorrow on his actual birthday.
We should also shout out Ethan Van Sciver. He has a birthday today.
So yeah, man, fun show, guys. I like these kind of shows because Matt just kicks me off whenever he wants, you know. And that was he forgets that I have the admin powers here too. But I was playing along; it's fine. I was just playing mod today, which is good. Hope I got everybody's links right and everything in there. I want to say thank you to all our generous donations and people in the chat. You guys are the reasons we do this. You make it so we can do this. I have a lot of respect and love for all of you people, even those of you that have really bad takes and opinions. So there's that. And thanks, guys, to all of you on the panel. It's awesome seeing you all here again, and some of you for the first time. It was really cool. On the podcast this week, I think I'm always unprepared for this one, but I believe Conan the Destroyer, our review of Conan the Destroyer review is coming out on Friday, and on Thursday our review for episode 2 of that terrible sci-fi show with the piece of shit family, Invasion on Apple TV is coming out. So yeah, that's
I tried that.
Yeah. You don't have to watch the show, guys. In fact, you probably like our reviews better. So don't watch it, but come watch our reviews of it. So yeah, there you go.
Yes, we are the Invasion surrogates.
Yes.
Watch Mythic Quest instead.
Yeah, Mythic Quest is good. Mythic Quest is good. So's Silo. Silo's worth checking out. Yeah, there's some good stuff on Apple TV if you guys don't have it. It's definitely worth it. If you buy a new phone, I think you get 3 months free of Apple TV.
You get a year free.
So there's, if you're an Apple head, there's no reason not to watch these things. So go check it out.
Indeed. All right. I want to give a shout out to all of the people who gave us super chats during this live stream. Mexican Iron Man, Culture Casino, Gavin Blackburn, The Joker's Voice, William Forbus, David Nelson, No Money G, Dennis Wright, Scotty Dub, The AstroNerdBoy, Tom from Midnight's Edge, Marks 47, and E. Clay Tomlinson, and Jillian N. Thank you all so much for the support. We always appreciate it, and we do this for you guys. So thank you so much for being here. And to my fantastic panel of nerds panelists, thank you all being here to celebrate my birthday. Lit Dev, Script Doctor, Joe and Lamar, Mark Cartier, Price of Reason, J. Jonas Campbell, Jonas J. Campbell.
That's all right. I like it.
Yeah. Odin, Brian, and Matt, you guys are the highlights of my Saturdays. Always love doing this show with you guys. And hopefully we'll keep doing it as long as the money keeps flowing. So, need those super chats, goddammit. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for being here, and tune in next Saturday, same salty time, same salty channel, for more saltiness and more nonsense from the pop culture arena. Until that time, stay salty, my friends.